Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Raise your hand if you remember the quote. Do women have to be naked to be on the wall, to be in the Met Museum? Nobody remembers this quote? This is from the Gorilla Girls. They were a group of women artists who were activists in the 80s and still till now, I believe, advocating for the presence of women in the arts. And they made this a very great point that while there were fewer than 5% of women artists represented in the Met Museum, 85% of the paintings were of naked women in the Met. I'm very excited to be able to host this International Women's Salon, Women Artists Salon, where we get to celebrate and elevate women artists of all genres. I'm very honored to be here to do that tonight. My name is Jennifer Joy, and I'm a writer, performer, actor. I'm very active in the theater, and my work is often at the intersections of science and the arts. So you'll see later why I'm so excited to be the one to host tonight, because there's someone who's a real icon for me in that area. But I want to really give a shout out to Heidi. Heidi Russell started the International Women's Artists Salon in 2008. For the last 6 years, we've had these gatherings here, and we've also for 6 years had a podcast where Heidi will interview various women artists, and she really works to promote and, again, as I said, celebrate and elevate women artists. So welcome. We have quite a lineup for you tonight. We've got a little film, we've got a poet, we've got some visual art, we've got a dancer, and we've got some music for you. So we're going to kick it off with this great film about Hedy Lamarr. She was into science and the arts before that was even a thing. So what we're going to highlight here, now she's our historical honoree, and we're going to highlight a film that was recently finished about her called by the filmmaker Alexandra Dean, and the name of the film is Bombshell, the Hedy Lamarr story. Hedy Lamarr was known as being a starlet, a screen siren. They also called her the most beautiful woman in the world. But the documentary that Alexandra Dean did added inventor to the list. Is everyone aware that Hedy was an inventor? Hedy Lamarr was an inventor? No? Oh, this is the coolest story ever! Okay, so she possessed a beautiful mind, an Austrian Jewish immigrant who acted by day and drew mechanical and electronic inventions by night. She did, I'm telling you. She wasn't just hot, she was really smart. She came up with a secret communication system to help the Allies beat the Nazis. And in the film, the filmmaker weaves in Lamarr's own voice from archival recordings, and she reveals how Lamarr gave her patent to the Navy, received no credit for her contributions. Oh, gee, that never happens to a woman scientist or artist. And wound up impoverished in her later years. The film is for lovers of history, Hollywood, and science. Alexandra Dean is an Emmy Award-winning journalist and a documentary director and producer, a founding partner at Reframed Pictures. Bombshell, the Hedy Lamarr story, is her first feature documentary. And we're going to see some clips from that film now.
Hedy wanted to do something important with her life. She wanted to make her mark. But she was totally judged by that face.
most glamorous star show business ever has produced.
One of the most glamorous stars the screen has ever known.
And one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Well, should we all say it together? I think we all know. Girl in the world. Hedy Lamarr.
She becomes the model for Snow White.
And she inspired Catwoman.
Oh my God! I mean, she was the best looking movie star that ever lived. She became my inspiration.
Thank you, Hedy, thank you.
It's not Hedy, it's Hedy Lamarr.
I don't know whether it's true, but you hear things. I heard that she was a scientist. So is this true?
Within the nerd community at Google, Hedy Lamarr was this beloved figure. For me, she is this perfect underdog, like crime fighter by night story, because she lived this life of great accomplishments and people didn't really know about it.
I remember sitting up in a bare attic with my mother. She said, look, I got a patent. You got a patent, Mom? Yeah. You invented something? Yeah. I invented a secret communication system. Look. And today we have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. That's my mother's technology.
You see?
No.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Hedy had one of the most recognizable faces of her time. And yet she said she was never seen for who she was. So who was she?
I'll read you something pretty. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, alternative motives. Do good anyway. The biggest people with the biggest ideas can be shut down by the smallest people with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. Give the world the best you have and you'll be kicked into the sea. Give the world the best you've got anyway.
So, definitely go see the movie. Okay, I want to say a big thank you to Leah, our bartender, and Dixon Place for hosting this for us every month. Okay, next we have some music for you. We have the lovely Layla, who's going to play for us on the tambo, which is a Kurdish instrument. She's a Japanese singer-songwriter and a composer. She was originally based in Tokyo. Her music has Japanese traditional elements combined with a psychedelic folk sensibility. I can't wait to see that. Her music, she has haunting piano ballads spanning subjects from life to love and everything in between. Tambo is her new instrument, and she'll be playing some pieces on tambo for us tonight. Let's welcome her to the stage.
And thank you very much, Heidi, for inviting this show. So usually I play piano and singing, but this time I like to introduce you my new boyfriend. I met him 1 year ago, so I like to play a couple of songs tonight. I sink into deep ground with my tears. In the darkness, I only get confused. It feels like forever, never ending. It feels like forever, never ending. I sink into deep ground that waits isolation. My light, hold me tight. My light, hold me tight. My light, burn me away. My light, burn me away in your arms. My tears touch that tiny seed that is my soul. Yearning arms sprout from that seed in the mud. Clumsy arms strive for you over and over. Clumsy arms strive for you over and over. My light, I dedicate my existence to you. My existence to you. My light, hold me tight. My light, hold me tight. My light, burn me away. My light, burn me away in your arms. My light, burn me away in your arms. My light, burn me away in your arms.
It was so beautiful.
Thank you very much.
How long have you been playing that instrument?
1 year.
1 year? Ooh, wow.
Thank you.
All right, let's give her another round of applause. Beautiful. Okay, raise your hand if this is your first time at the International Women's Artist Salon. Ooh, virgins. Well, we're really glad you're here. Hope you can come next month. Heidi, what's the date for next month?
It's always the third Saturday.
Okay.
Each month.
Okay, so the third Saturday. We'll be here again. All right, now we have a poet and visual artist. Yoonji Pan. She also goes by Linda. And she's originally from Beijing, China. Her main passions are film photography and poetry. And recently she's been exploring the intersection between these two art forms, because that's just what she does. Her poems have been published by Minetta Review and read at multiple events at NYU and the Bowery Poetry Club. I want to point out, you've got her Facebook down here, but her Facebook page is actually not Yoonji Linda Pan, but just Linda Pan. And she also has her photography, and now that's Yoonji Pan Photography on Facebook. She's also on Instagram. All right, please welcome to the stage a wonderful poet and visual artist, Yoonji Pan.
Okay, so this first poem reading is called Regular Human Being. I thought I caught a glimpse of me at the eye of this storm. I've lost touch with myself, taken another spin in hell. I saw my maker's hollow eyes, crushing it all from above. I know those eyes are so like mine, and when my fuel of unrest drained, when I have fallen to the floor, pierced by my tears and despaired in vain, poisoned by monetary stench in the rain, I know I cannot sustain, as a modern idealist self-proclaimed, that underneath the skin of madness is a nihilist flame, and tomorrow stretches long and thin like a muddy stain. When arriving at the translucent horizon, I only fear that nobody shall feel my anger, nobody shall know my name. Someday, they say, I'll become one of them. The snide, the servitude, the institutional brain, reaping, rising from a golden pile of disdain, disguised as thinkers, chanting the fraudulent refrain. It's okay to be deaf to their pains. It's okay to be insensitive and sane. It's okay to idolize those who put us in chains. The imperial venoms of the past shall rise again. But if I still have my wits about me at 43, I know who I don't want to be, just a regular human being in this rotten age selling. One is called Still Kids. As I escaped from the demons lurking in my bedroom, paraded in the streets and parks, locked in a paradise built within my headphone, I was longing to catch the same glimpse of campfire as you did, when you ventured into the city, penniless and free, fierce as a stray cat, waiting in agitation for the calling of your craft. Then your innocent daydreams shall soar like a phoenix, your frail existence augmented by your own imagination. You will lose it, you will use it, you will boogie. You will shatter the sycophants, you will watch the fakers crawl across the surface of the earth on their knees, as you did, when you had nothing left but defeat. You will love bravely, for what other crimes are we allowed to commit? You and I are never meant to succumb to this lie of a still life. Even as our vigor evaporates with the dying sun, we know in our shredded heartbeats that we are still kids, always will be. Even tomorrow, where the foxtails will also glow. And so now I'd like to talk a little bit more about my photography. So the kind of film that I use most often is 35 millimeter, and I shoot most of my pictures on the Pentax K1000. It's a really old camera. My favorite film is Fujifilm Neopan Acros 100, and I develop most of my own black and white photography with the zone system. So the way that I approach my photography is that basically I don't really try to capture what is actually there as most photographers would do. I try to capture something that is probably not there in front of the eyes. So my photography is kind of heavily influenced by, I guess, the Cubists with their deconstruction of deconstruction of space. and the surrealists with their, I guess, embrace of the subconscious. So that is basically my philosophy. And I'd like to talk a little bit more about some of the pictures that I really like, that I took. So this one, okay. So this one right here is called Tree Mouth. So if you look closely in the negative space, there's a face, and it looks like a bearded man. And I didn't really notice it when I took the picture, but I only noticed it afterward. But I found that kind of interesting. This one, I believe it's called Distorted Space, though I don't remember. So I chose this picture because I think it is, for me personally, a breakthrough, because that is the first time I really noticed the reflection on a surface, and that is kind of what I'm focusing on right now because I find that very interesting. This next picture is a little bit of everything that I represent. So there is some reflection of the leaves on like the top of a car, and then there's double exposure of like a tree trunk. And so the reason why I find this picture really interesting was because it really represented how differently people can interpret, like, I guess art, if you call this art. Because the way that I interpret this picture is that I call this one sail. So obviously I interpret it as like a boat. But when my mom saw it, what she saw was like a house on the prairie. So I find that very cool that there are different ways to see this picture. This one's called Labyrinth, and it's another multiple exposure and reflection piece. And it's just like the branches and everything, it like forms a kind of a fluid kind of motion. This last one is my personal favorite. I shot it by the end of last year, or I believe it's in the summer. I don't remember. Anyways, so you see this tree trunk or branch, like branching out from the surface of a pond. And what I saw was actually like what's not in focus. It kind of looks like a cement if you look at it closely. Okay, that's it. These are my social media, and if you're interested, I brought my prints also, so you can flip through them if you would like to do so. Thank you.
Beautiful work is Emma Batman, and she is a dancer. We get to see some dance. We're going to end the evening on dance. This piece is called Solo Project, and she choreographed and performed it at, performed by Emma, okay, and Left Side Labs. And the music is by Madeline Kokolas, okay. Now, Emma is a dance artist, choreographer, and co-founder of Left Side Labs. She's performed with various artists and created work that's been presented throughout New York City and internationally. She holds a BA in dance from Goucher College, and, you go girl, pursuing her master's degree in cultural sustainability. Nice. All right, let's welcome Emma. Woo-hoo. coming tonight. We're going to pass the hat. Please make whatever donations you can to support this work and to get the word out about the wonderful women artists that we bring in to this performance. So thank you very much. Have a great evening. Have another drink. Tip your bartender. And thank you again for coming.
Woo. Thank you to Jennifer Joy for being here.
Thank you, Heidi.
And hopefully you can help us build audience. So get out the message, come back, try to be regulars as much as you can. And we are videotaping, so more people around the world can see this showcase as well. So